Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Splattermax Prison with me, Splattercat. And we are here in this lovely kind of dirt field building a prison. I keep hearing the sounds of bells and sirens. I'm assuming we're somewhere near Detroit. I don't know. It's got that Detroit-y feeling to it. But anyways, we recently got our first little group of prisoners. As you can see, they've each got little names, and our guards are escorting them. Now the guards can only escort one prisoner at a time. All these guys are hogtied at the moment. And by hogtied, I mean handcuffed, because we don't hogtie here. We are a gentle prison. Even though we are death security, we still try to stay gentle with our inmates. But we need to add some toilets. We need turlets, because I simply just don't want my inmates pooping on the floors, and I wouldn't put them past them. And God forbid they ever figure out that they can turn poo into shivs, because then the situation would just be awful. So we're going to go to our objects menu, and we're going to grab some turlets. And I think I'll put them at the foot of the bed there. And we are going to have to run piping to all this. And what happened here? Construct brick wall has been blocked. Great. Well, let's take a look there and figure out what has happened. And hopefully someone will come along and construct that. It won't be blocked any longer. I'm not sure why it was registering as blocked. It shouldn't be, but ah, well, what can you do? So now they're loading everybody into holding cells. And I thought this was a two-sided... Oh, never mind. The door slid out of the way. I was like, what happened to the other half of my door? We were missing half a door on our holding cell. No, we're not. It's all fine. So now, I like to keep the toilets lined up so that when we run the piping, we can hit it all in one nice stream. So here we go. We'll do that, and hopefully the pressure holds out. If it doesn't, we'll bring this pipe around and down. And we'll connect it that way. Now, things that are blinking do not have power, and if they are solid, they do have power. Just something to keep in mind while you're panning around the prison. And at this point, we should probably put in metal detectors. So let me see if I can place metal detectors yet. How much do those cost? $1,000. That's pretty expensive. And I think we place them like so. I think they go like this. And so we'll put them on that end, and then we'll also put them right there in front of the doors. And hopefully they don't use up too much electricity. I've heard that metal detectors can consume reasonable chunks of electricity. Some of my prisoners are already nude running around the prison. They're excited to be here. They're like, wee-hee! We took a shower. And we're putting phones in. The purpose of the phones is to make sure that they don't get homesick. Now, they're in prison, so obviously they're going to be homesick, but that tends to be one of the things I've noticed they bitch about the most, is they get grumpy if they can't call home. And if you give them free time, they can come and call their family and make themselves happy. And I think that's one of the biggest flaws with the game, is that you can take your regime here, and if you give them a majority of free time, they tend to be okay and they take care of their needs fine. But if you kind of plan every day out for them, they get grumpy really, really fast. Now, the problem with this holding cell here, the problem we're going to run into, is that the more prisoners you have in a small space, the grumpier they get. And he was taking a wee, and he's taking a poo. I wasn't aware that it actually told you what they were doing. This guy's getting out of here. Apparently he's dropping a BM that's like an atomic bomb. Yeah. And up here, we don't need too many more offices. Now, this guy's grumpy. He's complaining about something. God only knows. What we do need is a place to take our prisoners that are getting out of line. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place a foundation for my solitary confinement area. And how large is this? This is 5 by 21. So we're going to want a 5. Actually, that's spaced out kind of weird. Let's just go right up to the back of it here. And we get a 5 by 21. We'll make it a 6 by 21 so that there's a walkway. And someone should come out here and build this. Now that we have our first crop of convicts, we have to be a little more careful because the game's going to accelerate from here. As you can see, we've got 20 hours till we get some more convicts. This guy is just not happy. He's just being a grump at the moment. So hopefully we get these cells built because they do like to live in their cells a little better. I'll throw some TVs and stuff in there. And once we have TVs and things in place, we should be able to keep everybody happy. Now, what kind of work is going on here? We have all kinds of materials being delivered. We have somebody tearing down lights in here, which is good. I'm trying to think of other things that I need to do right now. We do have a pretty large work queue, so hopefully the piping gets laid and the beds get put in and this wall also gets put in. They are taking their sweet time. I don't really want to accelerate the game too much, although that is kind of one of my complaints. Beckwith is just not a happy individual. I can tell already. All the other prisoners, perfectly happy. They're dropping deuces. They're eating. They're calling their family members. Beckwith is just sitting here complaining. You can't please everybody, though. There's always got to be a whiner. Now, they're almost done putting in all the floor grates in our shower. So that's good. We don't want to have any flooding situations because floodings cause riots to get out of hand really, really rapidly. Our final prisoner is being moved from there to there. And things we need to focus on now, we do need to put some seating here. Oh, and what are they? He's homesick? You have free time, man. Oh, never mind. He's on eating duty at the moment. So hopefully the second he gets out of eating, you can see up here that there's different phases, and these are going to correspond with your regime over here. Now they're eating, and then they get yard time, so he should be okay. I don't think he's going to lose his shit before then, but hopefully he doesn't decide to get in any major fist fights because we don't have our segregation unit made yet, our SHU, our separate housing unit, our segregated housing unit. So we'll cover that when need be. Now, other things, they do need seating in here, so let me get objects, and we'll throw some benches in here. There we are. And now our money is going down rapidly. We are going to get money every single day, but we are going to need a workshop as well. The workshop is kind of like a constant generation of cash for you. And it's a useful thing to have. You can get a couple $1,000s from it a day, I think was the last time I looked. You can get a reasonable amount of money every day from it, which will help keep you in the black. Now they're going to come down here and place this, and this is kind of my strategy when I build, is I keep everything kind of blocked off with fences until I need it. And now once this is in place, what we'll do is we'll build a fence around it. So another fence will come out to here and go up to here. A fence will go from here to here, and then we'll destroy this fencing. Now, Beckwith is still complaining. Beckwith. I'm sorry, I don't know the difference between an I and an O. Beckwith. Beckwith generally just seems to be a troublemaker. So I am going to click him, and I'm going to schedule him for a search real fast. And he wants to work out, so let's get some objects here that they can entertain themselves with. I want to make sure Beckwith doesn't have a weapon. You can search a prisoner by clicking him and then selecting search. It does make them a little grumpier, but you know, if he's got a weapon and he's in a bad mood, we want to avoid that. So we'll put in some workout stuff. There we are, 4 of those. And the other thing we're going to do is we'll put in some other stuff for them to do in the yards. So televisions, toilets as well, in case they got to use the bathroom. You kind of want to apply to as many of their needs as you can over here. And once they're done with yard time, some of these guys should run off and take showers because it looks like a lot of them are feeling a little dirty. Now, let me see here. I feel like putting televisions in the yard may work. Kind of, well, I've heard that putting televisions in their cells while they're on free time doesn't necessarily work very well. And what are these guys doing? I don't even know. I hope they didn't just run in there and steal a bunch of kitchen supplies. They did. They ran in there and stole a bunch of weapons. So guards should come frisk them now. And it queues them up for searching so that we don't end up with problems. As you can see, my guards are jumping in. That's why we put metal detectors there. So they searched these guys. They found knives on both of them. God. And so now they're being arrested. And once our separate housing unit is up, we'll take them there. And this needs an entrance, so I guess this is probably a good side for an entrance. Let's put our jail door in. Actually, jail door is going to have to be on this bottom side, so we'll take that right there. And that's perfectly centered. And now, I had a feeling when they ran in there they were getting themselves into trouble. So I do need to take this, and that's one thing I forgot to do. So I need to click this door, and I need to make it staff only so that it stays locked whenever prisoners try to get in it. Now we have 13 hours left until more prisoners arrive. Hopefully these cells get done. We are going to assign them as cells as soon as they've all got beds and doors. So it looks like we've got 3 more beds to go, and then we'll get another housing unit going. One trick you can use, and this is kind of a dirty, filthy trick, but you can do this, is you can take your delivery area and move it inside your fences, and your trucks won't be able to drop off prisoners. So if you get really behind, you can do that. But for now, hopefully that doesn't end up being something we have to do. Hopefully we can stay ahead of the curve here. I'll probably put another cell block right here, maybe. And then we need a medical ward, which we have researched, so we haven't put in our medical ward yet. So let's go ahead and lay the foundation for a small medical ward. Well, we'll make it a little larger than that. I don't want to have a a tiny hospital building, but we do need a hospital building of reasonable size. And we'll take objects here, and we'll put in a door. Make that staff only so that they can only get in when occupied or when escorted by a staff member. We'll put some hospital beds in there just in case there's any fights and people get wounded. But generally, we're in free time right now, so a lot of these guys are cuffed, and that means they're in lockdown for a while. It's kind of a punishment. This guy had I saw that. This guy had a fork. I don't know if you caught that. He flashed it real fast. So we're going to search him and see if we can get that fork off of him. Or somebody in here had a fork. I thought it was him. Yep, there it is. And so that's what I was talking about when I said you can watch, and sometimes they'll pull weapons out and put them back away. They kind of flash them at each other. And these guys are trying to get in there right now. And they managed to bum rush it. Crap. So I should probably put in double doors, but now they can't get out. So he's got an axe. No, that's a scrubby brush. The first time I saw that, I thought the cooks had axes. And I was like, oh, we need to put the cooks on security. They've got like battle axes. Now, we need to designate all these cells. That's an easy thing to forget to do. A cell needs to be a 3x3. Or, I'm sorry, a 2x3 minimum. And since all of our cells are set up, we want to get people assigned to them as quickly as possible so that we can use this holding cell for extra prisoners. What was that? I hear an alarm. Alright, so our secure housing unit is rolling over right now. So what I'll do now is we'll take materials, and we're going to run a fence around this thing so that we can break this other fencing. So there we go. We only need a little walkway. We'll build a fence around here. It's going to be, you know, pretty sizable, but that's the only way we can break down this stuff. And once we do that, we'll expand the yard out a little bit, give it a little more space. And let's see. Free time. I'm going to put in some TVs into the room so that they can entertain themselves. We do have... What's going on with these detectors? Why is that offset? Oh well. It'll probably be fine. So some of these individuals have weapons. He handcuffed him in the kitchen. I don't know if that's entirely sanitary. I may have to come up with a different way to work this. Kind of a double door system maybe. I don't know. They don't die or anything if they get stuck in there. So let me take a look at my regime one more time. They got free time. I'm going to reassign that yard time as free time so they can go get showers. In general, it seems like free time works. That's really the only strategy thus far that I've come across that works amazingly. So they are making quite a racket now. Hopefully they'll keep it down. And we do have gentlemen placing lights in here. So let's get some walls going as well. We'll take these materials. And... oh no, I miscounted. I miscounted. What am I doing? Oh well. So what I'll do is we gotta demolish walls here. We'll demolish all those walls. We will dismantle you. And what we'll do is we'll expand this out a little further. And there we are. I kind of miscounted there, so what can you do? Unfortunately. And we'll take an object. God, is everyone packing in this prison? Jesus! These guys are really good at keystering knives. I think my kitchen just isn't secure enough, so I'm kind of considering putting my kitchen in a different area and having the cooks bring everything by hand in with them, maybe. Because all these guys are getting frisked. But at least my guards are taking care of business. Time is flying a little faster. They're going to break out these walls here. We'll take a door and we'll replace it one below where this door was. There we are. And that should be wide enough. We'll put our cell block in. And from there we should be alright. Now, we need more walling. I don't know if it's going to do that automatically, so we'll put in 2 more brick walls. I'm hoping it doesn't make me tear down this entire building just to get this done. It may. So let me break down those walls. And once those are down, we'll get this sorted out. I'm kind of wasting my work queue here, which is disappointing. Now, make sure all these fences are in place. Good. So we'll tear down these fences now. It's probably more efficient to... there we go. And so now that's taken care of, and we can get our shoe set up a little better. I'm not entirely sure how you add to a foundation. I haven't really had to mess around with this yet. So I'm guessing you don't add like that. I was hoping to avoid having them bust out all of this. Well. There we go. So that got rid of the foundation altogether. Let's take... And those are going to be blocked, aren't they? They're going to make me break down these walls. Oh, they're going to come in and do it by hand. That's unfortunate. So I guess I'll break all this down, and that's the price I pay for miscounting. There's probably a more efficient way to do that. If you are aware of it, throw it down in the comments. I am trying to get better at this game, but frankly, I'm not very good at it. In the utilities, we need to run our electrical grid over to our hospital now. We haven't had any fights, actually. This is going pretty well. Usually, things are going a lot worse at this point, so for that, I am thankful. We'll close this down. And the next thing we need... So we've got 6 hours until our next group of inmates arrives. So we're going to take more foundation. And how big was this block right here? This was 12 by 21. Hopefully it fits. Do you fit? It does fit. We'll go from the back of the shower, I guess. So there's 12. And is that 21 yet? God. 12. By 21. And we'll bust this fence out here, and we'll put the entrances on either end. So basically all I've done is I've taken this building, and I've flipped it around. I've kind of rotated it. So that should work out okay. We are going to need more housing very shortly. We're building 10 blocks at a time. And we're getting 8 prisoners at a time. So we are having to expand fairly rapidly. But what can you do? And once all these walls and all this trash is taken care of, we are keeping a lot of workmen on staff. We could probably handle that by getting rid of some of them, but for now, we're going to need 2 more guards for the next day. So there we are. We'll add 2 more guards. We'll also add 2 more cooks. And this whole situation with the canteen has kind of disappointed me. So I think what we'll try and do... I'm still debating the merits of putting the canteen behind locked doors over here and having all of the cooks come in here. But then I think I'll probably run the risk of having people make a sprint for the administration area, which I don't know if you can have hostage situations or anything, but that would kind of suck. Now, other things to concern ourselves with. Let me get those doors placed real fast. Oh, we needed double doors. We needed double doors. I was like, why isn't this being symmetrical? As you guys know how I am about symmetry, so that lines up. We are going to need to take a fence and connect it to there, though, if we're going to use this as the entrance. Because we definitely don't want a situation in which we have prisoners running wild, so... The only other problem here that I see is we'll probably have to run a fence from there to there just to keep that enclosed, but it'll be alright. It'll work. So... This is the end of another day here in Prison Architect. My name is Splattercat. I hope you're enjoying the playthrough, and I hope I'm not screwing things up too horribly. Like, I hope my prison isn't a complete and total mess for those of you out there who are Prison Architect masters, but I will see you next time, and take care out there, everybody.